Thanks for selling your car to Carvana. Here's your check.
Whoa, when did I get here?
What do you mean?
I swear it was just moments ago that I accepted a great offer from Carvana online. I must have time traveled to the future.
It was just moments ago. We do same-day pickup. Here's your check for that great offer.
It is the future.
It's the present and just the convenience of Carvana. Sorry to blow your mind.
It's all good. Happens all the time.
Sell your car the convenient way to
Carvana.
Pickup times may vary and fees may apply.
Welcome to the Deep Dive. This is where we take that pile of sources you give us, dig through it, and pull out the insights that really matter. Basically, we give you a shortcut to being properly well-informed. Today, we're plunging into something that touches every single one of us, the world of cybersecurity. It's incredibly dynamic, sometimes pretty unsettling, but, absolutely crucial. You've handed us a really fascinating stack this time, recent news, some sharp expert analyses, even forward-thinking legislative stuff. So our mission today, connect the dots, figure out the so what's behind it all, and hopefully equip you with the knowledge you need to navigate this digital landscape because it just keeps changing. Get ready. It's a fast-moving target. And yeah, we're going deep.
Absolutely. And the pace of change, especially, with AI evolving so rapidly in cybersecurity, well, staying informed isn't just important anymore. It's frankly critical for everyone.
Yeah, critical is the word.
We'll be looking at the immediate threats, the cutting edge stuff, but also how we protect the most vulnerable people, like kids, and the bigger strategic shifts experts are making to try and keep us all safe online.
Okay, let's unpack this then. Let's dive straight into some of those recent headlines you flagged. We are seeing some genuinely sophisticated cybercrimes popping up, especially ones using AI. It's quite something.
It really is.
Take this, for example, a major police operation. They recently dismantled a network that defrauded, get this, 208 investors out of over 19 million euros.
19 million.
And how they did it.
Yeah.
It was this potent mix, this cocktail of AI-generated fake ads, really convincing social engineering, and, well, the usual lure of easy money from crypto investments.
Yeah, and what's truly insidious, really, is how that blend created this perfect, highly targeted trap. It wasn't random.
Right.
The victims, they were often older individuals, people with, significant savings who'd maybe shown interest in financial investments before. The scam started small, deceptively small.
Small.
Like initial investments of maybe 100 euro, 200 euro. Then they'd show fake profits on an app, build up that trust, that false sense of security, and then they'd ask for much, much larger sums.
Classic grooming tactic almost.
Exactly. It's patient, draw them in, give them a taste of success, then go for the big score. And the whole thing started to unravel, believe it or not, because one person, a citizen from Grenada, lost over 600,000 networks.
Oof.
That loss triggered the alarm. It just shows how one devastating case can expose a much wider criminal network. So for you listening, the takeaway has to be extreme skepticism about those too good to be true offers, especially in crypto.
That's a really powerful example of the human cost, even with AI involved. Okay, let's pivot. Another major incident you flagged.
Yeah.
This significant data breach involving X, formerly Twitter.
Right. Now, X hasn't officially confirmed it, we should say.
Important point.
But there's this alleged file doing the rounds. A massive 34 gigabytes, and it could potentially impact, something like 50% of X users?
Half the users. That's staggering. What's supposedly in this file?
Well, the alleged contents are pretty extensive and personal. We're talking emails, names, locations, interaction counts, publications, even follower lists.
Wow.
And what makes this potentially even more alarming is this claim by a user called Thinking1. They say they've merged data from two huge separate leaks. One supposedly from early 2025, another from 2023.
Merged them.
Yeah, merged them, totaling maybe 200 million records. Now, think about the implications of that kind of widespread combined data exposure.
It sounds like a goldmine for attackers.
Precisely. It creates this incredibly rich data set for future attacks, highly targeted attacks. Imagine crafting phishing emails using someone's actual past tweets or connections. It makes them far more convincing, much harder for you, the user, to spot as malicious.
So it's not just a leak, it's like a blueprint for future hacks.
That's a good way to put it. A blueprint for more potent, personalized digital attacks against individuals.
Okay, so as these threats get more sophisticated, obviously the need to protect everyone grows, especially kids, right? They're growing up completely immersed in this digital playground.
Absolutely.
You shared some insights from Herbert, an expert at Panda Security, about this whole debate around minors online and some pretty bold new regulatory ideas. So what does this actually mean for families, for educators, on the ground?
Well, it's a space that's moving fast, especially in places like Spain. There was this report back in December from independent experts with 110 ideas, and that's now kind of guiding a potential new law there.
110 ideas, huh? What are the key ones?
They signal a real shift towards being more proactive, not just reactive. So key things include visible health warnings right on devices like phones and tablets, warning kids and parents about risks.
Like on cigarette packs almost?
Sort of, yeah. Then age-based access restrictions, limiting what content and apps kids can access based on their age, their development stage, and a big one, manufacturers and software providers having to implement default security settings.
So safer out of the box.
Exactly. Devices coming with a kind of safe mode already on for kids. Default secure environments. Plus, there's a focus on regulating device use in schools, particularly for younger kids. Reducing screen time, encouraging more traditional learning. Madrid's already doing some of this.
That sounds pretty comprehensive. It goes way beyond just limit screen time. So what specific dangers is Herbert pointing to? What are these proposals actually trying to tackle?
Herbert really boils it down to three main threat categories that need urgent attention. First, just the sheer volume of inappropriate content.
Right.
Kids can easily find violent stuff, sexually explicit material, hate speech, and that can seriously negatively impact their emotional and psychological development. It's not just seeing it, it's the potential trauma, the skewed views of the world it can cause.
Okay, what's the second?
Second is cyberbullying and grooming. Kids getting harassed online by peers, which is bad enough. But also, more alarmingly, adults manipulating them for sexual exploitation, often hidden in online games or social media DMs. It's a predatory environment.
And the third?
Third is device addiction. You see it everywhere. Kids showing clear signs of dependency, constantly needing a device for entertainment. That whole "I'm bored, give me the phone" thing. It's not just a tantrum. It's about their developing brains forming unhealthy habits, unhealthy reward pathways.
Okay, so legislation is one thing, but it's clear parents have a massive role, probably the main role, right?
Yeah.
So what does Herbert suggest? What tools, what strategies can families use to build a healthier digital culture, not just react?
Herbert really stresses that parental controls are, and I quote him here, excellent tools. They give parents practical ways to set limits on device time, on specific apps. They let you monitor content, block inappropriate stuff.
Makes sense.
You can set daily usage limits, specific time slots, like, no phones during homework or after 9 p.m. But what I found really insightful was Herbert's personal example.
Oh, yeah.
He actually shares his own device usage stats with his kids, using the same parental controls. Makes it a shared thing, fosters understanding about limits, rather than just rules being imposed on them. It's leading by example.
That's smart. Yeah. Makes it a conversation.
Exactly. And companies like Panda Security, they offer tools like Panda Dome Family and lots of educational resources to help families create safer digital spaces. But the core message really for you listening is that adult responsibility, being actively engaged, leading by example, that's paramount. It's about building digital literacy together.
Shared understanding, parental leadership. Crucial points. Okay, to get an even deeper view, sort of from the trenches, we turn now to Angel Lopez. He founded Sophistic. He's CIO of 480, a real expert, tons of firsthand experience, especially with critical infrastructure, banking. He's right there on the front lines.
Yeah, Angel's perspective is really valuable. So Sophistic started back in 2013. Initially, they were hyper-specialized, really technical stuff, cryptography, offensive security, hacking for defense.
Right.
But Angel quickly saw that many sectors just weren't fully aware of their cyber risks yet. So smartly, they pivoted, focused mainly on banking and critical infrastructure, where the awareness and, frankly, the stakes were much higher.
Makes sense. Go where the need is recognized.
Precisely. And they've been active internationally, too, organized a conference in Panama, the Rootstick Congress. Their mission, as they put it, is to evangelize cybersecurity. Basically, educate everyone about the real problems and the solutions out there.
That's interesting. And what's really compelling is their latest report, the 2024 Cybersecurity Trends Report. It's not theoretical, right? It's based on their own security alerts, a real snapshot. What are the big takeaways you found?
Yeah, it gives some really interesting, sometimes counterintuitive insights. Okay, so on the positive side, there's a significant drop in critical alerts.
Good news.
It suggests companies are actively finding and fixing the really big, gaping vulnerabilities. That shows some maturity in defense. However,
There's always a however.
Right. There's a corresponding increase in low and medium priority alerts. So what that suggests is organizations are tackling the 5-alarm fires, but maybe letting the smaller, smoldering issues linger. And for you, that means even small vulnerabilities, if ignored, could still be an entry point for a clever attacker.
So don't ignore the small stuff. What else?
Well, surprisingly, the report showed fewer attacks during non-working hours, weekends, holidays.
Really? I always thought that was prime time for hackers.
That's the common wisdom, yeah. This might be because companies are more aware, reducing their exposed surface, fewer devices online, maybe shutting down cloud systems to save costs. But Angel adds a caution here.
Which is?
The few attacks that do happen in those quiet times, they might be much more targeted, much stealthier, and potentially, therefore, much more dangerous. Quality over quantity, perhaps.
Okay, interesting. And what about phishing? We hear about it constantly. How is that evolving according to their data, especially with AI in the mix?
Yeah, the phishing data is fascinating. Get this. More users are actually opening phishing emails now.
Wait, opening more. That sounds bad.
It does initially, and it's directly linked to AI. AI can now generate these incredibly sophisticated emails. Perfect grammar, tailored content, very convincing, much harder to spot as fake at first glance. But
Another but. Okay.
here's the crucial part. Even though more people are opening them, fewer users are actually clicking the malicious links that's down 24%, or entering their login details down 17%.
So they open it, realize it's dodgy, and then stop.
Exactly. It suggests that while AI makes the bait look better, human vigilance, good user training is actually working. It's proving to be a really effective countermeasure, reducing the actual damage even as the attacks get slicker. It's a big win for awareness training.
That is a powerful point. Invest in your people's awareness, but it really does sound like AI is this classic double-edged sword here. So let's get to the core of it. How is AI fundamentally changing both the attacks and the defenses?
Angel is crystal clear on this. AI is now indispensable for defense. He said Sophistic themselves started using AI way back in 2017. Why? To handle the sheer volume of alerts coming from their banking and critical infrastructure clients.
Just too much data for humans alone.
Way too much. Impossible for human teams to analyze it all effectively, respond quickly enough. And given that attackers are definitely using AI to make attacks smarter, more personalized, wider-reaching defenders simply have to use it too. Not just to keep up, but ideally to stay ahead. It's an arms race, and AI is now a key weapon on both sides.
So connecting this to the bigger picture, people often say cybercrime is basically about money, but then you see these massive breaches and you wonder, is some kind of digital Armageddon really what criminals want?
Angel argues pretty firmly no. Cybercrime is primarily driven by economics, by profit, not pure destruction. Most attackers, he says, engage in phishing by trawling. Think big nets, mass attacks looking for repeatable profit.
Not trying to sink the whole ship.
Exactly. Why destroy the very systems, the capital structures they exploit? If the digital world collapses, their business model vanishes. Now, sure, state-sponsored actors, geopolitical players, they might have different motives, maybe launch more surgical attacks, but the general cybercrime ecosystem, they want the lights to stay on so they can keep making money. Exploitation, not annihilation.
That makes a certain cold logic.
It does. And thinking about defense again, automation is absolutely critical in these security operations centers, SOCs. Clients demand rapid response. They have these service level agreements, SLAs.
Right, guarantees for response time.
Yeah, promises to contain or fix a problem within, say, an hour. Humans alone just can't meet those demands without automated systems constantly filtering, triaging, responding to known threats, 2047.
So machines handle the volume, humans handle the complex stuff.
Pretty much. And this loops back to basic cyber hygiene. Simple things like closing unnecessary ports RDP, remote desktop protocol, is a common one that allows remote access. Closing those off prevents a lot of critical alerts in the first place. But again, while the big holes get plugged, those medium and low-risk issues highlighted in the report often remain. And they can still be exploited in the right circumstances. It's like locking the front door but leaving a back window ajar.
Good analogy. Now, Angel also touched on broader strategic challenges, especially for the cybersecurity sector in Spain. This makes you wonder, how does national talent, national investment fit into this whole global cyber battlefield? How can a country like Spain position itself?
Well, Angel shared insights from a recent high-level meeting he was at in La Moncloa with other cybersecurity CEOs. A key takeaway was the need for Spain to really leverage its strengths. It has a strong talent pool, good engineers, and homegrown intellectual property in cybersecurity products.
So use what you've got.
Right. The ambition is twofold. First, Use that local tech to better protect Spain's own critical infrastructure. Second, sell those advanced Spanish solutions internationally. And by doing that, Spain can also help meet its NATO defense spending targets, not just with tanks and planes, but with cutting-edge cyber defense capabilities. It's about recognizing and promoting national tech innovation on the world stage.
Okay, so Spain has the talent. But what about actually selling that tech globally? Are there specific hurdles for Spanish companies compared to, say, Silicon Valley firms?
Yes, Angel highlighted some significant challenges with internationalization. Expanding into Iberoamerica, South America, is generally easier shared language, cultural ties, but cracking the U.S. market, much harder.
Why is that?
Partly, he says, there's still sometimes a perception, often unfair, that Spanish tech might be inferior. Plus, the U.S. has a very different investment culture, much more aggressive. And he also mentioned something interesting, maybe a bit controversial, what he called cañitas culture within Spain.
Cañitas, as in Cain and Abel.
Sort of, yeah. Meaning a tendency, perhaps, to not fully celebrate and boost local successes, maybe even undermine them sometimes. Unlike in the U.S., where success often gets amplified hugely by the ecosystem, it points to internal cultural factors, maybe a lack of unified institutional push, hindering global competitiveness for some really good Spanish tech.
That's a fascinating and maybe sensitive point about internal dynamics. Looking ahead then, what's Angel's forecast for 2025? More of the same or new threats emerging?
He sees current trends continuing, generally increasing risk, but he specifically flagged information leakage as a growing concern.
How so?
Largely driven by employees, often with good intentions, experimenting with all these new public AI tools, people uploading maybe confidential company documents or private data into these tools without fully grasping the risks. Where does that data go? Who sees it?
Right, the fine print nobody reads.
Exactly. So it creates this dilemma for companies. You want your teams to use AI to innovate, stay competitive, but you absolutely must have strong precautions, clear rules, and really good training about the data, privacy, and security risks involved. It's a balancing act. Innovation versus security.
Wow, okay. What a deep dive indeed. You've given us a huge amount to chew on there, from the absolute front lines of cybercrime and defense to that vital task of protecting kids online, and then zooming out to these big strategic challenges for nations.
Yeah, the thread running through it all, it seems, is just constant adaptation, relentless awareness, whether it's AI making attacks slicker, or the need for laws to catch up, or just day-to-day vigilance from all of us, individuals and organizations. This digital world demands our full attention, all the time.
It really does. So, as you, our listener, reflect on all this, on the sheer pace of change we've discussed, here's maybe a final thought to mull over. We're in this era where AI is rapidly making the tools for both attack and defense available to almost anyone. So how much of our future cybersecurity truly relies on just more and more technological innovation? And how much actually hinges on us? On our collective human intelligence, our ethics, and maybe a shared commitment to being responsible digital citizens? Where does that balance lie? We certainly hope this deep dive has given you a clearer, more informed perspective for navigating what's coming. Until next time, stay curious, and above all, stay safe out there.